Hey guys, my name's Josh, I'm 25 and honestly, I'm kinda ashamed to even be writing this story. I mean, it's not exactly the type of thing I'd just tell anyone, but damn, you all need to hear this to the end because, wow, it's wild. So yeah, I never thought I'd be that guy sharing a story like this, but here I am, ready to spill the tea. Trust me, it's worth it. So, one morning I was doing my usual routine, washing up, just getting ready for the day, and out of nowhere, the tap in my shower literally bursts. Water is freaking everywhere. I try to stop it, but it's just pouring out like Niagara Falls, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? I managed to turn off the main water supply, but I know I need to fix this as fast as possible. So I grab this random business card I had lying around for a plumber, dial the number, and this low, super smooth voice answers on the other end. It's one of those voices that just makes you stop for a second, you know what I mean? I wasn't expecting much, but damn, it caught my attention. Anyway, this guy tells me he'll be over in about half an hour. I'm thinking, alright, cool, probably going to be some older dude who's seen it all, done it all, and just wants to get in and out. But man, when the doorbell rings and I open it, holy hell. This guy's about 30 and not what I pictured at all. He's tall, got these broad shoulders, and is just hot. Like, annoyingly hot. The kind of guy you see on Instagram and double tap without thinking. I'm gay and open about it, and I'll be honest, my mind immediately went there. So he starts getting to work, takes off his jacket, and I'm just standing there, pretending not to stare, but also not really pretending. His arms are jacked, and he's handling those tools like a pro, unscrewing stuff, fixing parts, like it's nothing. And here I am, completely distracted because, well, it's been a minute since I've, been with someone. So my mind starts wandering. And man, I wanted him. Alright, so here's where things get interesting. The plumber, let's call him Mark, by the way, tells me to open the water valve after finishing up the repairs. Easy enough, right? I go over, twist the thing open, and boom. Water just blasts out like it's on a mission. And where does it go? Direct hit, right on Mark. He's standing there, drenched, and I'm scrambling, trying to shut the valve off again, but it's not happening. My hands are slipping, I'm half panicking, and meanwhile, he's getting absolutely soaked. I'm thinking, great, I just turned this guy's workday into a disaster. Finally, I get it under control and shut the water off. Mark looks down at himself, his shirt clinging to him, water dripping from everywhere. You ever see someone look better soaked than dry? Yeah, that was him. And I swear, it caught me off guard. He laughs it off, tells me this has never happened to him before. I can tell he's embarrassed, but he's keeping his cool, handling it like a pro. We try again, this time, no drama. The water flows perfectly, no bursts, no flooding. Job done. But here's the thing, this guy's standing there in my bathroom, looking like he just stepped out of a pool. His clothes are sticking to him, his hair is damp, and I'm not about to send him back out like that. So, without overthinking it, I offer him a towel and say, look, I can't let you leave like this. How about some hot tea while I throw your clothes in the dryer? He hesitates for a second, but I guess the idea of walking out in soaked clothes wasn't appealing. So he shrugs and agrees. I grab his wet clothes and toss them in the dryer. Now here's where my head starts spinning. We're in my apartment, he's standing there in nothing but his underwear, and the tension is, yeah, it's real. I'm nervous, but something just pushes me. I step closer to him, and without even thinking twice, I lean against his back. His skin's warm, even though he's just been soaked, and my heart is racing. I don't know what possessed me, but I quietly ask, you want to warm up against me? It sounded way more confident than I actually felt. I was ready for him to push me away, or at least laugh it off. But nope. He turns his head slightly, smirks, and says, I still have some work to do here. And bro, when I say my heart nearly stopped, he didn't push me away. He pulled me towards him, and we started kissing. Now, here's where it gets intense, and trust me, I'm trying to keep this as real as possible without glossing over the details. So, we're kissing, right there in the bathroom, and the air's thick with tension. I'm pressed against him, feeling his warmth, and it's like something just snaps in both of us. His hands move down to my waist, gripping me tight. They're big and rough, like a man who's used to working with his hands. He turns me around, and before I even fully process what's happening, we're on the floor. Tiles cold beneath us, but the heat between us is undeniable. He's still in his underwear, and the way his body moves is unreal. He's firm, powerful. His hands are on me, sliding over my skin, and my brain is firing off 1,000 signals at once, like a mix of nervousness and raw excitement. Then he pulls down his underwear, and I get a real look at him. And let's just say, it was big, like seriously. My breath catches because, well, I wasn't expecting that. His body's strong, and he's using all that strength in the best way. Every movement is deliberate, like he's reading my body, knowing exactly when to push harder and when to ease up. His hands, those same hands I'd watched earlier when he was fixing the shower, they're holding me tight, keeping me grounded, but at the same time, they're gentle enough to make me feel safe, almost. He presses me against him, skin to skin, and it's overwhelming in the best way. The sounds of our breathing fill the room, echoing off the walls, and honestly, time starts to blur. Each thrust sends waves of pleasure through me, and it's like my body's responding to him on instinct. His grip tightens as he goes deeper, faster, but by then, it's only pleasure. All that initial pain is gone, replaced by something that feels so damn good, I don't even know how to describe it properly. It's just right. The way he moves, the way his body feels against mine, it's like nothing I've ever experienced before. He's strong, yeah, but also so controlled. He knows exactly how to push me to the edge and keep me there. Every time I think I can't take any more, he slows down, draws it out, only to build it all back up again. It's intense and it's real, not some over-the-top fantasy. This guy, he knows how to make it good. I'm caught up in the rhythm, the way our bodies move together, and eventually we reach that point. That moment where everything just explodes. And it's not just physical, it's this emotional release too. Like all that pent-up tension is finally let loose. I can feel him shudder as he finishes, and I'm right there with him, completely spent. Afterward, we're just lying there on the heated bathroom floor, and I can barely catch my breath. My head's resting on his chest, and I'm listening to his heartbeat. It's still pounding from everything that just happened. His hands in my hair, gently stroking, and honestly, I'm just shocked. Like, how did this even happen? I've never had something escalate this fast, let alone feel this good. I mean, I've been with a few guys before, but none of them made me feel like that. There was something about him, his strength, the way he took control, but still made me feel safe the entire time. I'm lying there thinking, did that really just happen? My body's still buzzing from the intensity of it all, and it's like I'm floating, just completely wrapped up in the moment. Eventually, we both get up, and reality starts to sink back in. He's calm, cool, like this kind of thing happens to him all the time, which maybe it does, who knows. I grab his clothes from the dryer, still warm, and hand them to him. As he gets dressed, I can't help but feel this weird mix of satisfaction and disbelief. Before he leaves, we exchange numbers. Honestly, I didn't expect him to actually give me his number. I thought maybe this was just going to be a one-time thing. But he hands me his phone, and I punch my number in, and we've been texting ever since. It's casual, nothing too serious, but we've met up a few times since then. And now I'll tell you about our next meeting. You thought this was the end? No guys, this is just the beginning of what we did with him. Our next meeting happened about a week later. We had been texting back and forth casually since that first encounter in my bathroom, and I couldn't stop thinking about him, about Mark. Every time his name popped up on my screen, my heart would race a little, remembering how things had gone down the first time. It wasn't just about the physical part, although that was unforgettable, but something deeper, like we'd clicked in a way I hadn't felt before. He texted me on a Thursday evening, something simple. Hey, free tomorrow? Might be in your area. I knew what that meant, and the excitement hit me all over again. I didn't want to seem too eager, but I replied right away, saying I'd be around, and that he was welcome to stop by. Friday came, and I spent the day half distracted, just waiting for him. I kept replaying our last meeting in my head, how spontaneous it was, how raw the energy had been. This time though, I wanted to take it slow, really enjoy it. I wasn't sure how it would go down, but I knew I wanted to savor every moment. Around 6 p.m., I got the message, be there in 20. My heart jumped. I did a quick cleanup of the apartment, making sure everything looked good. Not that I thought he'd care too much about the place being spotless, but it made me feel more in control. Plus, this time, I wanted it to be a little more prepared, not like last time where it was all heat of the moment. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. When I opened it, there he was, just as casual as the first time, wearing that same confident look that drove me crazy. He was in jeans and a fitted black t-shirt that hugged his muscles just enough to remind me how strong he was. He gave me that half smile, the one that said he knew exactly what he was doing to me. I invited him in, and we made small talk at first. It felt natural, not forced, like we were picking up where we left off, but without all the urgency. He asked me about my week, and I asked him about work. He joked about having no crazy plumbing disasters this week, and I laughed, feeling the tension ease a little. But under the surface, it was still there, simmering, waiting to bubble up again. I offered him a drink, and we sat down on the couch. There was this quiet energy between us, like we both knew what was going to happen, but we were letting it build. He sat close to me, not touching at first, but the space between us felt charged. I could feel the heat of his body next to mine, and every movement, every glance, felt loaded with anticipation. Then, without saying a word, he leaned in. It was subtle at first. A brush of his hand against my leg, his fingers lightly grazing my knee. I looked at him, and in that moment, we didn't need to say anything. The tension snapped, and we both leaned in at the same time. The kiss was slow, deliberate, so different from last time. It wasn't rushed or frantic, but deep, like we were both taking the time to explore each other. His hand slid up to my neck, pulling me closer, and I let out this quiet breath, feeling myself melt into him. The kiss grew more intense, and soon enough, we were tangled together on the couch, his hands exploring my body with that same mix of strength and gentleness I remembered. He had this way of making me feel completely at ease, while also lighting every nerve in my body on fire. His hands were everywhere, on my back, my arms, gripping me with just enough pressure to let me know he was in control, but also making me feel safe in his touch. Before I knew it, he was guiding me towards the bedroom. This time, it wasn't rushed or chaotic like the bathroom incident. It was slow and intentional, every step feeling like we were moving in sync. He led me to the bed, and we stood there for a moment, looking at each other. The air between us was thick with anticipation, but it wasn't just lust, it was something more, like we were both really present in the moment. When we finally lay down, everything felt heightened. His hands moved over me slowly, almost like he was memorizing every part of me. I could feel his strength, but there was also this tenderness in the way he touched me, like he was taking care of me, not just physically, but emotionally too. It was intense, but not overwhelming. We moved together like we'd done this 100 times before, like we just knew how to fit together. He didn't rush anything. Every kiss, every touch was deliberate, like he was savoring it as much as I was. I could feel the tension building between us, but instead of giving into it right away, he took his time, drawing out every moment. It was a kind of connection I hadn't felt before, like we were completely in tune with each other. At one point, he pulled me close, wrapping his arms around me tightly, and I just let myself sink into him. His body was solid and warm, and I could feel his heart beating against my chest. We stayed like that for a while, just holding each other, the world outside fading away. It was one of those moments where you feel completely grounded, completely connected. When things finally escalated, it was different from the last time, less rushed, more intense in a deeper way. There was this quiet understanding between us, like we didn't need words to communicate. Every movement felt like it had a purpose, like we were both there, fully present, experiencing it together. The closeness was overwhelming in the best way, like nothing else existed outside of this moment. But there was something else there too, something I hadn't expected. He pulled back just a little, giving me this look, and he said quietly, "This time, I want you to take control." I froze for a second, surprised, but the idea of it sent a surge of excitement through me. He stood up and led me toward the bedroom, but there was no rush in his movements, no urgency like the first time. It was slower, more thoughtful, and when we got to the bed, he let me guide the way. He sat on the edge, looking up at me with that same calm confidence he always had, but this time, I could see he was ready to give in, to let me take the lead. I moved closer, slowly, and we started kissing again, but the power dynamic has shifted. His usual control gave way to something softer, something more vulnerable. He lay back, looking up at me, and I could tell he was ready to let me take charge. I kissed him deeply, my hands exploring his body like I had the first time, but this time I was the one dictating the pace. His strong frame beneath me felt solid, yet there was a softness in the way he responded to my touch, a silent agreement that he was ready to let go. I felt his hands on my back, gripping me as he sank deeper into the moment, and I couldn't help but smile at how different this was from last time. As things progressed, I could see the change in him, the way he gave in completely. It wasn't just about me being on top, it was more than that. It was about him trusting me, letting me lead. And that's exactly what I did. Every movement, every touch, was mine to control, and he let me guide him, responding to every move with a mix of evenness and restraint. It felt new and electric. The connection between us was undeniable, but this time the roles were reversed. I could see him trying to hold back, to let me take the lead, but the deeper we went, the more he surrendered. It was a different kind of intensity, a shared experience where the balance between us shifted in a way that felt perfect, like we were exploring something new together. When everything was over, we lay there, and I could feel his arm draped over me, pulling me close. I rested my head on his chest, feeling the rise and fall of his breathing, and I knew this had been something different for him. It wasn't just about the physical, it was a kind of connection that we hadn't had the first time, a deeper trust. As we lay there in the quiet, his hand traced circles on my back, and I couldn't help but smile, knowing that this time we had both given something to each other. It wasn't just about dominance or submission. It was about trust, about knowing that we could switch roles, that we could explore new sides of ourselves without hesitation. A few days later, Mark texted me in the afternoon, "Hey, just finished work. Mind if I stop by?" I didn't hesitate for a second. My heart raced at the thought of seeing him, especially after he mentioned how busy his week had been. After Mark walked through the door, still in his work uniform, I could feel the atmosphere shift immediately. The heat radiating off his body mixed with the scent of sweat and freshly applied cologne was intoxicating. He stepped closer, his shirt clinging to his chest, showcasing his muscular frame, and I could see the tension in his posture. There was something primal in the way he looked at me, a hunger that made my heart race. Without a word, we moved to the bedroom, the anticipation thick in the air. As soon as we crossed the threshold, he pressed me against the wall, his lips crushing against mine with an urgency that took my breath away. His hands found my hair, gripping it tightly, pulling me closer to him as if he couldn't get enough. This time, he was especially hard, his desire palpable. I could feel the weight of him against me, pressing me into the wall as his body demanded mine. He kissed me deeply, the intensity of it almost overwhelming, and I could sense the need in him, a raw, aggressive energy that electrified the moment. As he maneuvered us toward the bed, his grip on my hair tightened, a subtle yet possessive act that sent shivers down my spine. I could feel the heat rising in my core, the anticipation building as he pushed me down onto the mattress. The way he hovered over me made my breath hitch. He was in control, and the thrill of it was intoxicating. He entered me with a force that took my breath away. The initial pain was sharp, but it quickly transformed into a heady pleasure that coursed through my body. His movements were powerful and relentless, each thrust deeper and more intense than the last, and I could feel every inch of him. It hurt in the most pleasurable way, a reminder of how much he wanted me, how much he craved this connection between us. His grip on my hair remained firm as he pulled me toward him, forcing me to meet his gaze. There was an intensity in his eyes that spoke of primal desire, a fire that ignited between us. With every thrust, he pushed me further, taking what he wanted, his body moving with a fierce rhythm that left me gasping for air. I felt completely at his mercy, and yet it was exhilarating. He was aggressive in his movements, holding me firmly as if to claim me. Each thrust was a statement of dominance, a display of the deep connection we shared. I could feel him pushing me to my limits, riding the fine line between pleasure and pain, and I reveled in it. The world outside faded away, leaving just the two of us in that moment, lost in a whirlwind of sensation. As we reached the peak of our desire, the intensity reached a fever pitch. I felt my body responding to his every movement, the tension coiling tighter within me until I finally released, spiraling into a wave of pleasure that left me breathless. He followed closely behind, his body shuddering as he found his release, the primal connection between us culminating in that blissful moment. When it was over, we lay there, bodies entwined, catching our breath. The rush of what had just happened lingered in the air, a potent mix of sweat, desire, and a shared satisfaction that bound us even closer. As I nestled against his chest, I felt a sense of fulfillment wash over me, knowing that our connection had deepened yet again. So yeah, it was our 3 encounters. So write what do you think about it in comments, and don't forget to subscribe.